November 15, 2017. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The parliamentary opposition may put up a legal challenge to the National Identification and Registration Bill if the government does not reconsider the proposed legislation. Opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips gave the signal on Tuesday at a media briefing. Members passed the bill after 12 hours of deliberations in the Senate on Monday night. But Dr. Phillips has posited that some clauses in the bill breach the Constitution. Clauses he highlighted, such as the provision that makes it mandatory for citizens to register for the national ID and which stipulates a, quote, significant or massive, end quote, fine for citizens who do not register. He also cited the provision that denies Jamaican citizens access to necessary public services because they are not registered. The bill, when it becomes law, will facilitate the implementation of a national identification system. Each citizen will be provided with a randomized 9-digit national identification number, which they will have for life. The Public Sector Transformation Initiative is a fast-approaching reality. Prime Minister Andrew Holness reminded his parliamentary colleagues at Gordon House yesterday of the announcement earlier this year that it would close at least 5 public bodies by the end of 2017. Mr. Holness pointed specifically to the Road Maintenance Fund.
The Road Maintenance Fund, or the RMF as we abbreviate it, is one of the public bodies identified to be abolished and its functions transferred to its parent ministry. That is the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Mr. Speaker, the transfer of the Road Maintenance Fund is included in the list of self-financed public bodies identified in the Public Sector Transformation Action Plan for rationalization, closure, and its functions transferred to the Portfolio Ministry by March 2018. The Public Sector Transformation Action Plan reflects the priority elements of the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program designed to increase the overall effectiveness of public sector service delivery and contribute to the wage to GDP target.
The Prime Minister argued that the public sector could become far more efficient if a shared services model were pursued. He says the government will save $35 million in expenses when the functions of the Road Maintenance Fund are transferred to the parent ministry. Mr. Holness said shared services for government entities must be a reality going forward.
The public sector can become far more efficient if we pursue a shared services model. And technology is making that much more doable a proposition. What we are doing now, Mr. Speaker, is to clinically look at the public service to see where we can expand shared services to improve efficiency, reduce cost, and get us on our way to meeting our debt to GDP target. Mr. Speaker, as mergers and closures occur and as shared services are implemented, we must acknowledge that there will inevitably be job displacements. But as we must also be mindful that there will also be opportunities for growth. A more efficient government that delivers more with less will support growth, and users will benefit from a higher quality of service delivery.
The government is moving to secure the nation's energy supply as it deals with a fallout caused by a recent U.S. government executive order restricting transactions with oil-rich Venezuela. Energy Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley told the House of Representatives on Tuesday afternoon that the executive order has stalled payments from Petrojam to the state-owned oil company in Venezuela because correspondent banks and financiers are exercising greater due diligence in fear of penalties under the U.S. move.
This executive order prohibits U.S. persons and those within the United States from engaging in transactions involving new, medium, and long-term debt, new equity, and certain existing bonds of the government of Venezuela.
The energy minister said this resulted in some payments being held and subsequently released, but since then, no payments are being processed. Dr. Wheatley said, among other things, the government is examining the possibility of repurchasing Venezuela's 49% stake in Petroleum as part of the move to secure the refinery. He told the House that despite high-level diplomatic meetings in the United States, Jamaica has had no resolution of the matter.
Our government must now proceed to take the necessary steps to safeguard the viability of our assets, even, Mr. Speaker, as we recognize, value, and appreciate the support provided to this country by the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela to the energy sector over the years. Mr. Speaker, in addition to directly engaging the government of Venezuela on the issues facing Petroleum, the government of Jamaica is now seeking further intervention at the highest diplomatic and political level in Washington. And this effort, Mr. Speaker, is being spearheaded by our Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Mr. Speaker, in keeping with the government's thrust for transparency, I will be providing the Parliament with progress updates on this matter as we seek to ensure that Jamaica's energy security is protected.
The traffic ticket amnesty has been extended by 45 days. It will begin on November 27 and end on January 13, 2018. National Security Minister Robert Montague made the announcement yesterday. The government had implemented a traffic ticket amnesty to allow motorists with unpaid traffic ticket fines to make payments without incurring a penalty or interest. Tickets may be paid online at jamaicatax.gov.jm or at any tax administration of Jamaica office island-wide. Jamaicans are being urged to take greater responsibility in the use of antibiotics to prevent antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is the ability of a bacterium, virus, and some parasites to prevent antibiotics from working. Director of Veterinary Public Health in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Lynette Peters, explained the importance of adhering to your antibiotic schedule.
There are lots of times when we even go to physicians and we tell them, please prescribe us antibiotic. I need some antibiotic. Sometimes the condition for which you request the antibiotic is not really needed for this condition. And as a result, giving the antibiotics, you can develop resistance.
Dr. Peters was speaking at a recent JIS think tank that was held in recognition of World Antibiotic Awareness Week, which is set for November 13 to November 19. The theme for World Antibiotic Awareness Week is Antibiotic, the End of an Era. In regional news, Trinidad-owned Caribbean Airlines is being told to freeze wages, cut unprofitable routes, and end sweetheart deals with pilots if it wants to return to profitability. This is the recommendation of a joint select committee of Parliament set up to review the going-ons at the airline. We have more in this report.
Several operational practices within Caribbean Airlines Limited have raised a few eyebrows amongst the members in Parliament's Joint Select Committee. Key among the concerns, pilots abusing their travel privileges.
We requested from the company a schedule showing how many jump seats for trips were taken by pilots for personal use. And as we reported previously, there was more than one individual who ran up very high numbers. We couldn't understand how could one man make 100 free jump seat personal trips a year. 100. I mean, when do you work?
The committee recommends instead that the first 20 jump seats used for personal reasons be deducted from the employee's annual allocation of free travel, after which an additional 20 flights max can be accessed. CAL is also being advised to reconsider some of its standard routes to North American destinations, as records show a continuous decline in passenger numbers.
Where over the past 5 years, there have been unabated trend of declining passenger numbers and massive financial losses.
Chairman David Small says that this reality should serve as a clarion call for management to address the matter within the GSE's recommended time of 3 months.
I have masses of information, and we won't put the exact numbers out there, but the losses the Caribbean Airlines have suffered on some of these routes in the past 5 years are massive, massive losses.
Additionally, the GSE says it is peeved by CAL's hiring of foreign pilot staff when there is a clear abundance of local professionals who can do the job.
We have enough there, lots of pilots that we're aware of who are qualified and trained, can't get a job at Caribbean Airlines. Why are they advertising internationally for pilots? So this was an issue that particularly peeved this committee when, by their own admission, when they sought pilots locally, there was an abundant supply.
The committee did derive, however, that the company seems to have a strong brand loyalty despite its several shortcomings. It recommends this be utilized to steer the company back to profitability.
In sports, Jamaica's young reggae girls are set to depart at 1 o'clock for Trinidad and Tobago for 2 valuable friendly matches against the hosts this weekend. From there, the delegation will depart for St. Kitts and Nevis on November 20, where they will get down to the meat of the matter in the final phase of the CONCACAF Women's Under-20 Championship qualifiers, which will be held November 22 to 26. Assistant coach Xavier Gilbert stressed the importance of the 2 friendly encounters as they hunt one of 2 spots in the CONCACAF Under-20 Championship to be hosted in Trinidad and Tobago in January next year. And that's the news. Do stand by for our weather report. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start at This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start, as usual, with our local currents. In Kingston right now, the temperature is just about 28 degrees Celsius, and we're seeing a forecast of rainfall to continue throughout the afternoon until this evening when the sun sets at 6:33 p.m. Over there in Montego Bay, St. James, we're seeing a forecast of cloudy conditions and a temperature just about 26 degrees Celsius. Wind speed is east at 7 kilometers per hour. And in our forecast across the island, we're seeing an average temperature between 27 and 32 degrees Celsius. But we're also seeing a forecast of scattered showers across all parishes. And tonight, we can expect cloudy conditions in the western end of the island. Over in the eastern part, though, we're expecting scattered showers. We're also expecting an average temperature between 23 and 25 degrees Celsius. In our forecast for tomorrow, we're expecting scattered showers in the eastern hilly inland areas. We're also expecting some cloudy conditions over there in the western end of the island. It should be pretty sunny out in St. Elizabeth, and in Kingston we should get sun out tomorrow for most of the day. The average temperature we're seeing forecast for tomorrow is between 27 and 31 degrees Celsius. In our regional forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing an average temperature between 25 and 29 degrees Celsius. And we're also seeing a forecast of rainfall for several countries in the Caribbean. It should be rainy in Havana, over there in Antigua and Grenada tomorrow. In our travel planner, we look to the United States, where we're seeing a minimum temperature of 6 degrees Celsius with a high at 28 degrees Celsius in the 4 areas you're looking at on your screen. We're also seeing a forecast of showers for Miami and New York. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much again for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.